Oh, hey, what's up? Hang on. Just a second. Alright. Sorry about that. What was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, school. It can be the worst, right? You have tests, gossip, bullies. Oh, sorry about that. I thought I turned that off. Okay. And now I guess you gotta worry about your boss or your school seeing everything you do online. With all the news about suicides, bullying, and school shootings, it's pretty much a yeah, duh, that most Americans think schools are less safe now than 20 years ago. But actually, schools are the safest they've been in over 30 years. Violent crime, theft, bullying, they all went down between 2001 and 2017. Still, parents' anxiety is not decreasing, and neither is students. So, more and more schools have turned to surveillance in the name of safety. I'm talking facial recognition cameras, apps that track movements, and software that monitors emails and social media accounts. And for sure, it's really weird getting a scoldy email when you drop an F-bomb in a message to your friend at school, but then imagine you don't get one, because your principal decided not to remind you that they're watching. Cool. So, how far should schools go to monitor students online? In 1999, only 1 in 5 schools had surveillance cameras. By 2016, over 80% had them. Now, school shootings didn't start in 1999, but that is when they became a suburban nightmare, after 2 Columbine high school students killed 12 students and 1 teacher before taking their own lives. And with each deadly mass shooting, schools throw more and more money at their safety problem. So, the school surveillance industry has become massive. By 2017, US schools were spending $2.7 billion on security measures. And as schools moved more online, this monitoring went virtual. In the United States, the rise in surveillance tech stems from the Children's Internet Protection Act, which requires every federally funded school to have an internet security policy. It requires monitoring, but what kind is defined by each school district. Some install monitoring tools on all school-issued equipment, like computers and tablets. Some just block inappropriate content. Others have gone much further, using monitoring tools that scan social media posts, emails, and internet searches. The law allows for more lo-fi plans like teachers monitoring kids' computer use, but of course, surveillance companies encourage their high-tech methods, claiming they keep kids safer. Though mass shootings at schools are actually pretty rare, bullying and self-harm are much more common, and the latter is getting worse. And though experts aren't certain the exact reason for the increase, there is a direct correlation between access to smartphones and these numbers. Kids are sometimes bullied online to the point of harming themselves. Almost 6 in 10 teens have been harassed online. 1/4 have been sent explicit images they did not ask for, and 7% have had explicit images of them shared without their permission. And surprise, girls are more likely to be targeted. So yeah, given that about 60% of parents worry about their teens being bullied online, it's no wonder schools dish out cash to tech companies who claim to be able to keep tabs on their students online. Gaggle, Bark, Securely, Social Sentinel, these aren't fake Silicon Valley startups. They're student surveillance companies touting some impressive benefits. According to Gaggle, it helps school districts save 927 students who are planning an act of suicide. So I'm just wondering, how do we go about getting that figure? How do we get that number?
Yeah, it sounds like it's a marketing made-up number, right? Yeah. That's what it would sound like to me if I wasn't aware of what goes on. In order for us to count a life saved, we had to make contact with the district on a suicide attempt, and the district come back to us and say, yes, this is genuine. We were able to save the life of a kid last night. Now, I believe very firmly that you should have the freedom to express yourself privately. You have your home email addresses to do that. You have social media to do that. Unlike our competitors, we will not look at those.
Social Sentinel helps schools scour social media for signs that their students might be on a destructive path. Think about Parkland. It wasn't until after the shooting that people discovered serious warning signs on the shooter's online post. Had the school been aware and intervened earlier, it's possible the attack could have been prevented. There's tech claiming to prevent violence, to boost students' attendance, to prevent cheating, and all this online scrutiny was pre-COVID. Now, classrooms are going virtual all over the place, so schools' digital surveillance is likely to increase even more. But despite all these companies' amazing claims, there isn't clear evidence that their products are effective at preventing harm. A lot of this surveillance tech can return false positives. A student roasting a friend could get flagged as a threatening post. Not helpful. I mean, come on, Dale was just looking out for his classmates. He had a big lunch, man. That cafeteria burrito, Whew. I've been there before. Or what if a student's doing research for a paper about suicide or depression? Flags all over the place, but not a threat in sight. Plus, you'll never guess what kinds of students suffer worse fates from higher surveillance. Let me give you a minute to guess. Okay, what'd you think? Ding, ding, ding! Students of color. You got it. Schools with large populations of minority students tend to have more intense surveillance systems, and that can deepen the inequalities between white and minority students, just like distance learning can. Just as racial biases show up in computer algorithms, they are also all over these online monitoring programs. Statements made online or in emails by students of color are more likely to be misinterpreted or taken out of context. The non-human scanning software can easily misread jokes or sarcasm. Same with older humans who do not share the same cultural background, because they're mostly white and definitely not in high school. Then there's the whole privacy issue. On one end, I hate when I see an ad for something I was just speaking about on my feed. But on the flip side, I just found a great deal on an Instapot last week, so you have that. But then again, that's not the same as my school creeping on my screen. And let me get real with you for a second. As minors, you don't really have any privacy rights at schools. I mean, you have some, technically, but if admins have a reasonable suspicion that they'll find evidence that you broke the rules, then Operation Peep Your Stuff is a go. That's why your bag, your locker, and your phones are often fair game, but it's less clear how much snooping they can do in your online life. The norms and the rules are being made now, and some privacy experts say we need to push back on this thought police style surveillance. Of course, we want to prevent school violence, but there is a cost. At school, kids aren't just learning history and math, they're also learning how to adult. And there's a chilling effect if kids are being trained to accept surveillance as a given. That could stick with them into adulthood. Student privacy and school safety are basically in a tug of war. And when surveillance tech wins, it may actually make students feel less safe at school and make them less likely to seek out help online or participate in online activism if they fear losing anonymity. Think about it. If a student knows their schools are monitoring their computers, will queer students in conservative districts feel comfortable researching their sexuality? Would a budding Republican in a liberal city feel comfortable getting involved in political groups online? Schools have to decide a lot of things about data. Who will have access to all of it? And for how long? Under what circumstances can law enforcement access it? How and when will the data be deleted? Basically, your school is watching you. To some extent anyway. And they're starting to watch you online more and more. Now, that could be a good thing. They're trying to protect students from themselves and from others. Simple. The flip side, less simple. There are many problems with it. Does it work? And does it hurt students of color more? It also makes students way too comfortable having no privacy online. All right, think about your browsing history for the last 2 weeks. So what if your principal got a peek at all those pages? You okay with that? Now, imagine the principal also saw your classmates' history and found out they were researching how to 3D print a gun or sharing explicit photos of your best friend. Now you see the dilemma? So, what should schools be allowed to monitor? Let us know in the comments below. And hey, if you're a teacher, we want to know how you're using Above the Noise in your classroom. So please follow the link in the description below and fill out that survey. We'd really appreciate it. Till next time, y'all. Peace out.